Hi everyone, welcome to our tour to England and Scotland. We are a group from University High School in Costa Rica and we are 15 students and right now we're super excited because our cultural nations is finally started. We are traveling all the way to Edinburgh and London and honestly we can't wait to see everything. Learn and share these experiences with everyone and also enjoy them. It was a very long trip but we finally arrived to Madrid. Today we start an adventure with a bus tour around Madrid. We passed by some of the most famous landmarks like story gates and beautiful fountains. The view from the bus was amazing and it really helped us to get a first impression of the city. After the tour, we arrived at the hotel, dropped our bags, and then we went out to explore a bit more. One of the highlights was visiting a local market full of colors, food, and energy. We walked around it and tried some snacks, and of course, we couldn't live without getting ice cream. It was the perfect way to start discovering Madrid and enjoying our very first day here.
Blob, day two.
Day to day, we flew from Madrid to Edinburgh. The flight was smooth, and once we arrived, we started strolling right away. The city is so beautiful, full of story and charm. We are really excited for what's coming next, tomorrow, and all the next days. Well, day 3. Today we had a guided city tour around Edinburgh and it was amazing. We started at St. Giles Cathedral, we looked at the angels and noticed something special. Some of them were playing music instruments and that was such a cool detail. Then we learned about David Hume, a famous Scottish philosopher. There's a tradition with his statue, people touch his too for good luck, so of course we had to try it too. We also visited the World's End Gate. It got the name because in the past people believed the city ended right here. Close by saw the witch fountain which tells the sad story of women accused of witchcraft centuries ago. Our guard was playing the Lord's Locks, a secret listening spot used to spy on conversations in the parliament, and we hear the story of the Black Dinner, which inspired part of Game of Thrones also. To finish the tour, we walked through Victoria Street, one of the most colorful famous streets in Edinburgh. It honestly felt like stepping into a movie scene. Also, this street was inspired to make the Diagon Alley in Harry Potter. The city is full of history, legends, and surprises. We loved every part of it. Day 4. Today we visited the Scottish Highlands and honestly it was incredible. We learned that there are many legends here, some talk about giants, others about magical rocks, and even fairy houses that may have inspired the story of Peter Pan. The landscapes really feel like something out of a fairy tale. The Highlands have also changed a lot through time. In the past, there were wars, Clint got spared, and leaders like Kenneth MacAlpin played an important role in Scottish history. Today, more areas are being explored, and you can still feel that mix of history and mystery everywhere. Climate change has also made an impact. For example, around the mountains, other flowers are now blooming in June, even though they used to bloom later in the year. It's a small but clear sign of how the things are shifting. And of course, we couldn't forget the tartans. There are the original kilts made from wool dating back to 150s and 160s. They became a symbol of identify for the Scottish clans, each one of its own design and colors. What made this day extra so special was seeing Highland cow up close. They are so unique and adorable, I totally love them. The Highlands are full of legend, history, and natural beauty. It was a day we'll never forget. Well, day 5. Before arriving at the Scottish National Gallery, we first visited a cemetery near the city center. It was quite full of history and it really gave us a different perspective of Edinburgh's past. After that spot, we continued to the National Gallery. From the moment we walked in, it felt inspiring. So many masterpieces in one place, the building itself is beautiful, and the atmosphere makes you want to slow down and appreciate every detail. We knew we were about to see paintings that carried centuries of stories and emotions, and that made us even more excited. I leave you some videos to see a part of the gallery. I also found one of them that was pretty similar to me. This is the photo, I don't know, it's pretty similar to me, and I want you to know it. Also record myself talking about this painting, which I had done for a previous prince, and it made me know a little more about his history and apparently his ancestral family. These being the previous kings. I love it, I like it, and it has many colors because I like those colors, and it was a pretty interesting investigation I did. Inside the gallery, I focused on artworks that made me feel different emotions. There was one painting that gave me pure happiness with its bright colors, another that showed deep that sadness, and one that even made me feel a little angry because of its intensity. I also discovered one of the oldest paintings in the whole collection. It was fascinating to think about how long it has survived, and how many people have stood in front of it, just like I was doing. This visit wasn't only about looking at that art, it was about feeling it, connecting with it, and experiencing history through colors and shapes. Okay, the sixth day. Today we visited the National Museum of Scotland, and this was such a fun and interesting experience. One of the first things we saw was a medieval chess pieces. They are small, detailed, and full of story. It's amazing to think about how people played with them centuries ago and how they are survived until today. Another highlight was the famous sheep dolly, the first cloned mammal in the world. Learning about her importance in science made us realize how much research has advanced and how one experiment can change the future. We also spent time exploring the Natural World Gallery. It's a huge space full of animals, fossils, and natural wonders. My favorite animal there was the dodo. Even though it's extinct, it's fascinating to see how people are studying it and how there are even projects that dream about bringing it back to life. The museum made us laugh too, because we have fun thinking creative and silly pictures with the exhibits. It was the perfect mix of learning and enjoying ourselves as a group. And now, let's see a little more photos and move on something little more mysterious, the strange story of the miniature coffins found
In
on
1836, on the hospitals of Arthur Seat in Edinburgh, something strange was found. 17 tiny coffins, each holding a small glass figure.
No one knew who made them. No one knew why they were buried. The mystery began.
Some say witches used them to cast spells. Some sailors said that there were protection against death on the sea.
But there was another theory. 17 coffins and 17 victims of the infamous murders of Bute and Hart.
Maybe someone secretly made these coffins to give the victims the burial they never had, and after their bodies were sold for dissection.
We may never know the truth.
Okay, today was the day 6 of our trip, and we took the hop on hop off bus around Edinburgh. It's a great way to see the city from above and learn more about its history. We passed by Edinburgh Castle, which was so impressive on the hill, and learned about the kings and queens who lived there. We also heard the story about St. Giles and why he became the patron saint of the city. What I liked the most was seeing the old streets and the mix of modern and historic buildings all in one place. It was a calm day compared to others. We don't walk a lot, but it helped us to understand Edinburgh better and also enjoy the city at a slower pace. Later, we also visited a small town, kind of. It was really funny, really appreciable, and we all like it a lot. It was a very nice day, very peaceful day, and we enjoyed it a lot. That day 8 started with our train ride to London. We were all excited and curious about what the city would be like. I expected London to be very big, full of people, and with many famous places to see. When we arrived, the first impression was the energy, everything felt fast and life. It was just beginning, but we already knew this part of the trip will be unforgettable. Day 9 is our visit to the Science and Aerial Museum in London. One of the most amazing things we saw was a huge blue whale skeleton hanging in the main hall. It took 3 days to hang it, and the gallery was closed for a whole week to just complete the work. Another highlight was seeing the oldest object on display, a meteorite that is about 2.6 billion years old. It was incredible to think about how ancient it is compared to human history. What I liked the most was how the museum connected science with stories that made us feel part of something much bigger. We also went to a simulator of an earthquake, and this is it.
Okay, it starts.
Está muerto, dice muere. La cama de...
Okay, day 10. Today's day was walking tour around London. One of the first stops was Westminster, where I chose the statue of Nelson Mandela. It was inspiring to see him honored in such an important palace, where you can see the Big Ben and other buildings. We also walked through several streets and alleys that inspired scenes from Harry Potter. It felt magical to realize how the city influenced the book and movies. Along the way, we visited different fountains and famous spots that shows both the story and the beauty of London. One of the highlights was watching the changings of the world. The ceremony was full of tradition and very precious. We also learned how to tell if the king is at Buckingham Palace or not. If the royal standard flag is with the UK flag, it means he's not there. If it's opposite, it means he's there. That day, the Union Jack was above the palace, which means the king was not in sight. It was a full day of history and joining and culture and unforgettable experiences in the heart of London. We also see the London Eye, the London Bridge, and the Tower Bridge, where are some famous places and beautiful places that are from London. We enjoyed this day a lot, and personally, it was one of my favorite places. The day 11 was our tour of Oxford and Cambridge, two of the most famous university cities in the world. In Oxford, we learned about the history of the boat race against Cambridge. This rowing competition has been a tradition since the 1980s and still brings excitement every year. Walking through both campuses, we noticed symbols and carvings on the buildings that tell stories that their past and the students who studied here. Each corner seemed to hold a piece of history. One of the most fun parts was recognizing places used in movies and series. Some of the courtyards and halls looks exactly like the scenes from Harry Potter, and it feels like stepping into the films. What I enjoyed the most was seeing how traditional modern student life exists by the side in both universities. It was an inspiring day that made us feel part of something very special. Well, day 12 was all about Harry Potter. We took a bus to the Warner Bros. Studios in London, and from the beginning the excitement was huge. As part of the visit, we completed the studio passport, collecting stamps in different sections while exploring sets and props. Walking through the studios felt like stepping into the wizard world. We saw places where the scenes of the movies were actually filmed, like the Great Hall and Diagon Alley. It was amazing to realize how much detail went into creating the magic. This part of the tour was full of fun challenges, history, and a little nostalgia for anyone who grew up with Harry Potter. my vlog. Today we are tasting this water beer from Harry Potter. Really nice, I really like it. 10 out of 10. After exploring the studios, I tried the famous butter beer. It was sweet, creamy, and definitely a unique experience, something every fan has to try at least once. The day ended with more exploring, discovering products, costumes, and behind the scenes secrets from the movies. What I enjoyed the most was how the visit made us feel like part of the Harry Potter universe and feel like inside of the scenes, even if just for one day. It was a magical and unforgettable experience I will never forget. Day 13 was our visit to Windsor Castle, the oldest and largest occupied castle in the world. We couldn't take pictures inside, but we learned a lot about history. It was home to the first kings and queens of England, and building today is still used by the royal family. What impressed me the most were the ghost legends and huge number of rooms that the castle has. Even without photos, it was a visit filled with history and tradition. I really appreciate it and love this place a lot. Day 14, this was a special day. It was our visit to a secondary school in London. We did a small interview with some students asking that they talk about Costa Rica, where they believed it was located, its population, and some fun facts. It was interesting to hear their answers and see what they knew about our country. Then they shared the slang expression they often use. Tea time means dinner, God bless you is what they say when someone sneezes, and syllabus is a playful way to call someone funny or a bit crazy. It was a fun exchange because we also shared Costa Rican words with them. They basically show us how language and culture connect people in simple but meaningful ways. In my final reflection, I decided to think about the whole exchange. The most difficult intercultural experience was at the school visit. It was a bit chaotic, but it taught us a lot. A big personal exchange for me was living closely with others and speaking more English every day. I can't say I had just one favorite moment. Thanks to my group, I ended up making new friends and I created new bonds. If I had to choose, my favorite part was simply enjoying the trip with people I cared about. The funniest moments were when we laughed together, at night, in museums, in trips, or even in the middle of the street. Those little things made the journey unforgettable. This exchange taught me much more than just facts about London and Edinburgh. It showed me the value of sharing and of living every moment, and of exchanging cultures, ideas, and opinions with others. It was an experience that made us closer, made us appreciate each other more, and gave us memories we will never forget.